Today on Yeti at Large, it's hot. Hot. So it's a perfect time to talk about having a proper cookout in your RV when you don't want to heat up the interior.
This is Yeti at Large, a channel focused on making the most out of what you got, no matter where you're at. Now that you're here, let's go.
There's the proof. Temps are well over 100 in the shade. And that is RVing in the great state of Arizona. Now, if you're a fan of this channel, all 1,500 of you, you've known for a long time that we installed the MoreRide slide-out tray in this primary cargo compartment and connected at a perfect distance a cheap griddle that we got off of Amazon Marketplace. You can see the shielding behind there protects my cargo trays. I've never had a problem. Yeah, it's significantly warped. When it heats up, it sits down. This is our primary outdoor cooking implement because fortunately we put a long propane hose and we have a remote propane attachment underneath there, which has been a godsend. Inside this door here I have a 30-pound tank. On the other side I have an identical 30-pound tank, and we can really make those last. I have been very tempted, and when the warranties expire I might have my buddy cut those brackets off and weld them lower so I could put in a 40-pound tank and get 20% more propane for the ride. Most people don't want to lift those tanks, but a Yeti has no problem with that. So on this griddle we could literally do just about everything we needed to, but in order to specialize and to be efficient, we have some other appliances that we use. Check them out. Now, one of the things that's the most important part of our outdoor kitchen is this cocktail table that I bought off Amazon. I love it because it sits right next to the griddle. I can stage cool items, and it travels really well on the back bumper rack. It was a little too tall, so I took a pipe cutter and I cut exactly that amount of leg off of it so that where I like to put it, the door sweeps right over it. Mind you though, I'd never put the grill or the hot plate on it. I don't think that would work well. Where we do a majority of our cooking outside of the barbecue and the griddle is on this metal bistro table that we have for the campground. Now when we're on the road we don't travel with this obviously, but it's a lovely addition inside the campground to make it easy so we know we're safe and things can fall through it. This implement here, this ordinary old hot plate, probably the second most important thing in our outdoor kitchen because we can boil water for pasta, potatoes, vegetables, everything else. We can control the burner on it quite well, and then we can unplug it and let it cool off. One thing I will say that I wished I had is a propane single burner stove so that when we're boondocking and we don't have the electricity to run that, we could still get that one burner outdoor cooking application and not have to use the griddle that's not very efficient. One of the most recent additions is this Cuisinart portable barbecue with the folding legs. We have a spot for it where it fits perfectly in our other side of our storage unit, and I have this little folding camp table that I can set it on. You can see I put the same propane hose on it as I have on the griddle so I can hook it up to the underneath propane supply. We just love this stainless steel grill because we can barbecue with all the benefits, but I would never mount this to the RV with that open flame and that flame up and the grease dripping out of it potential. I think that's too dangerous. So we really love this. Items that we are comfortable running on the plastic table are our Cuisinart convection toaster oven. I just love this thing. I can roast a whole chicken in this. It'll do bake, broil, and convection oven. And it's never overheated the top of this table. I've always been able to touch the bottom of it. This would heat up the inside of the RV tremendously, but it's incredible what we can do in here. Lasagna, cookies, enchiladas, bread, roast a whole chicken, you name it. And now this may seem silly, but an ordinary toaster inside your RV just pours heat out of the top of this. Taking it outside to do your toast on a hot day or whatever it is you're going to do in here is a small step, but it's easy money. And if you don't want to go to all the trouble of mounting a propane-fired griddle to your RV, having a nice electric griddle can be a good addition. This is my Drew Barrymore that I got on clearance. Has a lovely drip tray, even a splash guard, and as you can see, it's a very large griddle. This thing works excellent outside. French toast, pancakes, pork chops, tortillas, you name it, quesadillas. This thing's a good addition. I have both just in case. Now, like the toaster, it might seem a little silly to have your coffee maker outside, but they do create a lot of heat. Plus, it's nice to have your coffee outdoors in the morning when you're out camping. That being said, I have an old 50s, 60s style percolator that'll work on a single burner or a camp stove that'll make coffee if you don't have access to that electricity. I realize a lot of you may have generators and or sufficient solar to power these types of electrical appliances, but it is always nice to have options if you have an electrical failure and you're running off propane, and you can go that route. So, putting my mouth where my money is, I'm going to give you guys a recipe today. Sweet onion and bacon home fries. Now, my recipes are less than a recipe and more of a method, so hang on quick. Parboil some plain old russet potatoes to a thick dice. Don't cook them all the way, just parboil them till they're 50% cooked. And even though we're doing a majority of our heat producing cooking outside, especially in the RV spot, you got to come indoors for some stuff. So the potatoes are parboiled about 50% of the way through. Always let your lid drip. Did you know that that's how you hook the lid on the handles? In the pan. I have my bacon bits fully cooked and my sweet onion. I'm going to put just a little bit of that hot water right on top of those and let them blanch, but not so much that it's going to wash away all that great flavor. I just want the sugars to come to the edge and I want the bacon to plump. We'll set that aside before we drain it. We'll put our colander, and I have no problem putting screaming hot water down my RV. I stole this colander from my mom's house. I can tell the potatoes are well cooked. Now I want them to be well drained. After I get the potatoes on the griddle, I'll strain this out in the same strainer and then hold it aside and put it on the griddle at the last. To prevent over oiling, I don't put any oil on the griddle until I got the potatoes arranged, and then I'll use the appropriate amount. The trick is I don't want any of them stacked on each other, and I got this great big griddle, so it would make sense to have a little bit of space, and the sizzle will really pick up when I add the oil, because I want them crispy, man. I'm using olive oil, but you can use any of the clean oils that you like. Avocado, coconut, olive oil. Just please don't use any of those nasty seed oils. Now leave them be. Don't start stir frying them and flipping them around. Leave them be. And I know this thing ain't perfectly level. The tray is so warped that I constantly pick up the oil and move it to the back so that I don't lose it just down the drain. Alright, let's let them cook and we'll do some dishes. So here we are a few minutes later. I've got the heat down low. You can see the potatoes are giving a good sign of a crisp on them. They don't have to be dark like French fries. I've added back in the already griddled bacon and onion, a little bit of parsley, that Montreal seasoning. I have my pan lined up on the table, and with two scrapers and with two spatulas, I can pick them up nice and gentle. And I'm going to get them off there before that bacon gets too hot. And that, my good camping RV buddies. Home fries with sweet onion and bacon and parsley, cooked outdoors. So a little addendum. I'm sitting here editing the video tonight. It's cool now. I have the AC units off, all the windows open, fresh air. And I realize I forgot to mention the single greatest appliance I have, the rice cooker. If you don't have a simple one-button rice cooker, you're missing out on the richness and fullness of the ease of cooking. You can do a batch of rice perfect in this thing every time. Whether it's Asian sticky rice, rice pilaf, and East Indian style rice, or even if you want to do Spanish rice, where you toast it first in your saute pan, and then place it in here with some tomato juice, onion, corn, green chili, black olive, and make Spanish rice. This thing is amazing. If I had to give up every appliance that I had but one, this is the one I'm keeping, because the rice cooker can do everything. Strange I forgot it, but there you go. So you can still have good food. You can still cook and not overheat your RV in the peak of summer when things are nasty and stress out your air conditioning units. Just got to have a little outdoor equipment and a plan. Either way, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Yeti at large.